We welcome Joanna Serpanos today to Hellow Media to discuss what it means to be a psychic medium. A mentor, what an amazing talent, and so many questions we have today.
What is a psychic medium and what do you do?
What is a psychic medium? So it's a psychic and a medium. So if you're a psychic, it means that I'm able to connect to the person that's sitting in front of me and to work out and read what their future looks like. So it's your living future. And a medium, which is what I'm also, is someone that has the ability to communicate with people that have passed over, and we call those people spirit. And what I do day to day as a psychic and as a medium is that I see people in my office and I give them readings, and whether they're psychic or mediumship or both. And I'm also a teacher of psychic and mediumship. So I run workshops during the day and I run lots of courses that are online. And sometimes people don't come to me physically in my office, they're on Zoom, and I'm able to work with them anywhere in the world.
What happened?
Sometimes that does happen because no medium is able to control which spirit comes. That's just impossible. What we can do though is work with our client to move our energy to try and make it easier for that spirit to communicate. So it's just like if you go to a party and you're a little bit shy and you're not sure who to talk to. Sometimes that's how spirit is. So we've got to work out ways to get them talking, and I find the best way is to ask them what they love doing.
Can you interact with spirits?
Yes, so everyone can interact with spirit, and the simplest way is just to talk to them. You can talk aloud or you can talk quietly in your mind, and you can ask them to show you a sign that they're around. So they could give you maybe a feather, it could be a light that goes on and off, it could be a number, or you might see their name on social media popping up on a random post. So there's many different ways. It could be a scent even. But with mediums, we've got more of a structure. We talk to them in a more meaningful way, because the job of a medium is to, especially if you're an evidential medium, which is what I am, my job is to prove that I've got who I say I have and to give you enough information so that you can see that.
Is there something else you do besides horoscopes and readings?
Yes, so I don't do horoscopes. So besides that, what I do is I do numerology, which is looking at your date of birth and seeing what your soul path is. I also do tarot cards and oracle cards. So they're tools of the trade, if you like, that I use, but I'm not an astrologer, so I don't do horoscopes.
Can you explain what a mentor is?
Yes, so a mentor is someone that has experience and ability in a particular area. So for me, it's mediumship, and we are here to guide, help, inspire confidence and build trust in the people that are learning the skill sets. So it's an important part of my job. So mentoring can be things like watching the student practice the readings and giving some tips and techniques, and helps build their energy and build their confidence. And it can also be imparting knowledge. And that's why I ended up writing my book, which is called Giving Spirit a Voice, where there's a lot of information on how to actually do mediumship here.
And what advice can you give for someone that wants to get into mentoring?
So my first piece of advice would be not to rush. It takes a lot of time to become a mentor because you have to build up a lot of experience with working with spirit, working on yourself as well, and being able to practice in every area of mediumship so that you can assess your students, that you can work with them and you can see what's happening. So it takes a lot of energy to be a mentor, spiritual energy. So I always say to people, don't rush, learn with the good mentor yourself, trust and build up slowly like any new skill set. Just start in small steps and build up to bigger opportunities to teach others.
Who would you invite to dinner if it could be anyone?
Wow, there'd be so many people that I feel that I would love to invite. I actually would say my maternal grandmother. Now, I didn't get a chance to spend a lot of time with her because she lived overseas. So I only had a very small time with her, and I would love to be able to sit with her and really get to know her.
What would you make or eat with your grandma?
With my grandma, as much as I love Italian and Japanese food, with her, because I have a Greek background, I would probably cook a lovely Greek dish. So something like, and I know with her she grew her vegetables, so I would probably cook tomatoes that are stuffed with rice and vegetables and baked in the oven, so they're just beautiful.
What are some of your favourite hobbies you like to do on the weekends?
Well, I am a dog mum, so I love dogs, and going out with my dog is the most favourite thing to do. My beautiful boy, he passed away a year ago, but I've got a brand new one arriving next week, so I'm super excited to get back into all the things that we did as a dog mum, visiting cafes, walking. I also love to read, and I love to get into nature, so they're my favourite hobbies, and also catching up with friends and eating brunch.
What breed of dog are you getting?
It's a cavoodle, so he's super cute. Cannot wait, we've met him, and now we're waiting to, and Buddy, my original dog, was a cavoodle as well.
You said you like reading. What do you like to read?
Oh, that's a good question too. I actually have a very varied taste in books. So I like anything from a crime thriller to a historical novel that has, historical fiction that has certain areas like Downton Abbey, for example, or Bridgerton, those sorts of areas.
Oh, Bridgerton.
Love Bridgerton. So I definitely have that. Anything from even stories that are a little bit supernatural, those sorts of things. So I have lots of different books that I love to read.
How hard is it to become a medium?
It's not difficult. The hardest thing about becoming a medium is getting out of your own way. So often when people are delayed in their development, it's usually because the head gets involved, and people will say things like, I'm not good enough, what if I get it wrong, what if I don't know what I'm doing? And so when we've got that going on in the head, it gets in the way of us just being natural with our mediumship.
Do you sage in your work?
I don't sage in my work. I know people do, and I know they like it and they love it. What I do every morning before I start is set an intention, and I call that prayer. So I like to build the energy through a daily prayer, and I work on my energy in the room that way.
How many years does it take to become a medium?
And that one is an interesting question because there's no set curriculum. Some people want to develop their skills very quickly and they'll spend a lot of time developing, and some people might not have enough time because they've got other family commitments and they might only be able to do a small amount of practice. The more you practice, the more you put it into practice day to day, the more easier it is to start perfecting your skill set. So for me, I've actually been reading now for about 25 years, so it's a long time. And even now, I'm still learning different things about the spirit world.
This is for Claire. I know Claire's not here at the moment. She's enjoying the sunshine. I would like to know, what is your favourite Disney or animated series and why?
My absolute favourite is Brave. Do you know? I don't know if you know that one. I just love that one because she lives life according to her rules. She doesn't play by what's expected of her. And it's all about girl power. So I love that little bit of girl power for her.
How do you ensure a safe environment?
So I do that with intention. So I always open the session with a prayer where I ask that we are held in the light, and that I ask that the loved ones, and only the loved ones of the person that's in front of me, connect with me. And I think that's really important. Like anything, if you set a plan and follow through on the plan, everything goes quite well.
Why did you stop being an engineer?
So I was an engineer for about 18 years, working with cars. So I was in the automotive industry and I loved it. I loved working with all the designs. Interestingly, it sounds funny, doesn't it, that someone can be an engineer and a medium. But what happens is engineers are very creative and we use the creative side of our brain. And in my family, there are mediums that that have come before me. So my mother and her mother are also mediums and psychics. So that was part of who I was. It was part of how I was raised and I was born into it. There came a time when being of service, so in other words, helping others through my ability, through mediumship, became louder than my desire to design and help practically. So I made the switch, and that was about 20 years ago now, maybe 18, 20 years ago. And I haven't looked back. I just love doing what I do.
How long have you been a mentor?
I've been mentoring for about 12 years now. So I worked as a medium for a lot longer, but I started to teach about 10 to 12 years ago. And about half of my day is done on mentoring and running workshops.
How do you know if you are a medium?
That's a great question too. So there are common things that mediums have. One is that they're very sensitive to energy. So even as little children, often they will feel what the room feels like. Sometimes they might get a little cold shiver when someone that is known to you that has passed on is being spoken about, so we can feel the energy in the room like that. Usually, so for me, when I was a little girl, I used to have people walking around in my room and I used to see them. They were just doing whatever they were doing. They never hurt me, they didn't harm me, but I used to see them. So I'd tell my mum and dad, you know, that there were people in my room and they were all dressed in all different ways, like long dresses with little boots, all the way through to the 1970s, all different types of clothing. And I used to see them and I used to hear my name being called out when I was a little girl as well. And then I ignored all that for quite a long time, went to school, did my university, learned my engineering, and then it started to open up again for me. So it is part, I believe that mediums are born with the ability. I do believe that.
What inspired you to become a medium?
Yeah, so what inspired me was I see the real healing that happens when we know that our loved ones are still there, and the beautiful messages that they give you and the lovely examples of how that actually works. And it's just beautiful to see people that were unable to live their life because they were so sad they missed their loved ones, and they were able to move forward and live and participate in life again. So it's really rewarding.
Do you enjoy your job?
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Do you do tarot readings?
I do tarot readings or tarot readings. Some people say it both ways.
Tarot.
Tarot is correct because it's actually coming from the French, and so they were originally designed in France. And tarot is a lovely deck of cards that allows you to use the images, the colours, the words, the numbers to guide your thoughts as a medium. And so we use those for psychic readings, and we're able to put out some cards to see what the pathway is like for the person, and it answers their questions.
People say, oh, I reckon this is a very morbid one, but for me it's important. Could a psychic medium or a tarot reader, could they predict the exact date, time, minute, second that I will die?
Yeah, so generally, the short answer, it's a really good question you've asked. That's a question that in my industry we'd talk about ethics. So is it, just because we can find that out, should we say it? And my view, just my personal view is I believe that is between you and your maker. So for some people that is God, for other people it could be the universe, or it could just be whatever your biology is about. And I don't think it serves us to know that, because then we're not living our life. What we're doing is waiting and counting the days down to that day happens. And we do have to live our lives. That's what we're here for, to experience and to have fun and to build joy and to build connections, and all those things have to happen. No, I never get that information, because my readings are all about empowering people to fill them up with positivity, with hope. But Did I predict someone's passing one time? I did, and because it made sense for the person. To give you the example of what that was about, so a lovely lady came to see me. Her mum was very unwell and she took sick all of a sudden. She was elderly, the mum was quite elderly. And this lady had packed up her home and she was going to move overseas. And then suddenly mum got sick. And then she said to me, I don't know what to do. All my things are on the water, ready to be shipped to Europe. Do I stay or do I go? Now, in that time, I was given the information, and the information was that her mum would pass quickly, and she was able to continue with that. But it's not something that I believe we should do if we've got it, because I do believe that we have to just live our life, and it's between us and our maker when that time comes.
How long did it take you to become a psychic medium? Is there any training, or is it just a sign?
Great question. So for me to become a professional psychic medium, it took me 2 years of training. So I sat in what's called a psychic circle, which is a practice circle, to practice my skill set. And I was also really privileged to be mentored by my mentor, who's now passed on, and her name's Mavis Patilla. And she was a British medium, and I was trained in the British College. There is a college for mediums, so it's a bit like Hogswart. And I was lucky to have gone and been able to train with her and to learn all about mediumship there. So yeah, so you can learn it formally, and you can also then practice it informally.
You mentioned there that you learned over in Britain. Is there any difference between Britain and here in Australia?
Great question. So in Britain, mediumship or spiritualism is a recognised, it's a religion, science and philosophy, and it was recognised from 1902. So it's a long time, more than 100 years. And so there is a huge network in England, and it's a formal network. They have spiritualist churches where you can go every week and listen to mediums, working with the audience and getting some inspiration. And I was able to train in that system. So we don't really have a strong network like that in Australia, but we do have a lot of people that have learned, such as myself, that are bringing all those principles and philosophies across.
You mentioned training there. Can you explain a bit more about Meraki training, please?
Yes, so Meraki is a community-based space that I created 6 years ago, and we have it once a month in the Hyatt Community Centre from 2 to 4 p.m. And in there I have developing student mediums that get in front of the audience and deliver mediumship readings to the audience members. And we do that, and all the profits, so we have a little donation at the door, $10 donation, and the profits of that go to helping our local community. So we're supporting cancer at this point in time. My students are able to work with the audience, they're able to be supported and guided by me, and the audience knows it's a learning space. There's no pressure for them. They might get it right once and they might not. And the audience members help with that as well. And then we have an afternoon tea. We have some cakes and a cup of tea, and we created this wonderful community where people can meet and they don't feel alone.
Can you tell me a bit about the origins of the word Meraki and how that translates?
Yes, so Meraki comes from my culture, so I have a Greek background, and Meraki means to do something with love and with soul, and I think those two parts of that word really sum up our community. So we're working with not only the spirit soul but also our soul, and we're doing it definitely with love. We're demonstrating that love lives on, and we're getting this community together because people come because they love their people, and so we're able to form beautiful friendships as well.
How do you help people in a reading?
Good question. So I help in many ways. So the first one, if it was a mediumship reading, the way I help people is that when the client comes to join and link with me, they usually want to connect to someone that they were close to. It could be their family member, it could be a friend, or it might even be a pet that they loved as well. And my job is to bring through enough information that tells the person that I have who I say I have. So these are things that we call evidence. So they're facts. It could be what their name was, it could be what they passed from, it could be a shared memory that they had with the person. And then there's always a message, and that message often is how people are helped. Other ways that I help is sometimes I help the spirit person, because if they pass suddenly and they didn't get to say goodbye to their loved ones, we give people an opportunity to be able to say those goodbyes, to talk and to find that connection and to find some answers. So that's one way that we do that.
What's the answer?
Well, there's lots of different answers. It depends what people are looking for. They might say something like, did Mum hear me when I was sitting by her hospital bed? So the mother might have had her eyes closed and she might have been quite close to passing. And for me to be able to say, yes, you know, she heard you and this is what you said, then that gives them confirmation that they were able to be supportive at that time. So there's lots of different reasons people will have that kind of reading.
What do you like most about your job?
The thing that I like most about my job is that I get to meet so many amazing people and I get to be part of their life for just a short time. So for me, it's like looking into a spiritual photo album, and it's a real honour and a real privilege to be able to be the voice for that spirit communicator. So it is just every day to see that connection is just what makes me just lights my world up.
How awesome was that? We are so thankful to Joanna and making the time to be here today and chat with us about your life as a psychic medium. Amazing